I spoke with some people in the NBA who said keep your eye on Houston. He really likes Udoka, the coach of the Rockets. Houston's got salary that they want to get off of. They want to get off of Jalen Green. So you could do a Green, Jabari Smith. You get a couple of picks. I think you get the Eason kid as well. So there could be something with Houston. So just keep your eye on that. Somebody told me, Katie loves Udoka. He would be okay with going to Houston. You could get Tari Eason, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, a couple of picks. And that team would be good because, you'd have Van Vliet, you'd have Dylan Brooks, you'd have Sengun, you'd have Thompson, KD. That'd be a tough five to beat. And they've got glue guys. All of those guys are glue guys. So KD just has to go in there and play, right? Which is what KD wants to do. You just have to go in there and play because Van Vliet is a glue guy and Dylan Brooks is a glue guy. You saw him mix it up with DeRozan the other day. So that could be a good spot. We'll see. We just know this. The Suns have to get off this roster ASAP. They got to get off of this roster as much as they can. Get off the money, do a hard reset, and just, try to figure out a way to where you can start acquiring younger players and picks for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've gotten to the point where there's not even – I don't want to say there's not even any fun in speculating it anymore. It just doesn't feel like there's any sport in speculating it anymore. Like it's the most obvious thing coming. Everybody knows it. Everybody can see it. Hearing Shams say they're going to work together. Well, of course they're going to work together. They have to work together. It's KD's going to be able to dictate where he wants to go. Honestly, it's gotten to the point. And I'm not trying to transition the conversation into other roster decisions they have to make. But really, the other roster decisions are far more compelling because they're more of a variable. Are they going to get off Grayson Allen? Are they going to get off Royce O'Neal? Are they going to try to move Bradley Beal again? What about Devin Booker in that conversation? Mike Budenholzer in that conversation? The Kevin Durant conversation specific feels like the literal worst-kept secret in the NBA. He's getting moved.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it,
Everybody
right?
knows
like
it.
Everybody. And so the trouble is, the payoff to him getting moved, it literally won't happen. What is this? We're at the beginning of March. It won't happen until mid-June. So all of March, all of April, all of May, half of June. You're 3.5 months away.
Yeah, the speculation will last for all 3 months.
For any kind of payoff. Now, we'll probably see other teams rise to the top of the speculation ladder, but we're not going to know where he gets moved for another 3.5 months.
You were right with what you said a few weeks ago. Keep your eye on what teams, flame out in the playoffs as teams that might be like, okay, let's go get Kevin Durant. Teams that, have high expectations, get into the playoffs, get beat, and then like, okay, we're not good enough. We need to make a move. Hey, Kevin Durant's out there, and we can make that move. So I think that's what the speculation will be for the next 3 months. I don't know that we'll go a week without people speculating about where KD is going to go and what's going to happen. But we know that the Suns have to get off this roster. They've got to reshuffle the deck. They got to get off the money, maybe get off the coach too, and figure out how to do a hard reset and start over. You try to – listen, the preference is to do a rebuild around Devin Booker. That's the preference. But I think a lot of it may depend on what are you going to get for Durant. How much can you get for Durant? And that'll be a key too. But, look, they don't want to trade Devin Booker. It's just a matter of, I don't think you should not take a phone call if somebody calls.
I guess, okay, so that brings up the good point. What is the goal of getting off of Kevin Durant? Is it getting
younger players and assets?
Is it getting the best possible players you can, or is it about getting off the money? Is it about putting yourself in a position to be able to financially reset yourselves? Because those might not be the same thing. Those might be two different things that you're going for.
Well, he's an expiring contract next year, so you're not, so he is an expiring contract. If you don't re-up Kevin Durant, he's an expiring contract. The reason to get off Kevin Durant is just because, somebody's going to be the face of, why this isn't working. And it's not fair that it's him because it's a lot of reasons. It's a lot of reasons besides him.
I don't think if Kevin Durant gets traded this offseason that he becomes the face of the failure. I don't know who the face of the failure is, to be honest with you. But it doesn't. I think, like, if Mike Budenholzer gets fired this offseason, he's not the face of the failure. If Kevin Durant gets traded this offseason, he's not the face. To me, there are many faces to this failure.
Yeah, it's like putting
many faces to it.
Put three guys holding a ball like we did with Dragic, Isaiah Thomas, and Bledsoe, exactly. And here's your three guys. You want young players and assets back. That's it. We're doing a reset because we got a 37-year-old player who still has value and we could get a couple of good young players and a couple of draft picks for him. That's it.
Yeah, no,
nothing more, nothing less. You don't have to read too much into it.
We're going to talk about it later too, but getting below that second apron, just putting yourself in a position financially. Yeah, you're right about Kevin Durant and that expiring contract. It's just it's when a player like this, okay, just ask the Golden State Warriors who just lived this nightmare for 2 months. When a player like this has the power that Kevin Durant does, you certainly want to maximize your return for him, but he also controls this process. He knows it. He will go where he wants to go. You will send him where he wants to go. That you have no other. So hopefully you can work with him to find that place, be it Houston or somebody else, where he wants to go there, and you can get the kind of package you're seeing. Because this is where teams can hold the Suns over a bit of a barrel. Kevin Durant wants to come to us. This is what we're going to give you. You can take it or leave it.
Right. That's why I look at Houston. They want to get off of Green. They want to get off of Green.
That's fine, but
they'll give you Jabari. They'll give you Green. They'll give you Tari.
Will they give you your picks back?
They'll give you a couple of picks.
I mean, to what extent will they give you what you want, or will they just be in a position of leverage to say, no, this is what we're going to give you, and this is what your take? Because the Suns don't have any options.
Did they lose in the first round of the playoffs?
And a lot of that depends on that. But the Suns can't bring Kevin Durant back. They can't.
No,
they can't.
No.
I mean, it's sad that it's gotten there.
I know.
But they can't.
You have one of the greatest players that's ever played.
Can't bring him back.
Historically, one of the greatest players that's ever played. A legend in the game. Still playing at a really high level, and you can't bring him back?
Nope. Can't.
Right. No, you can't.
It really does parallel the Jimmy Butler situation in some regards. Like he's not being like Jimmy was being to the Miami Heat. You can't bring him back. And so I just hope they don't get.
And not because he's still not a great player. It's because it hasn't worked. And you look at it and you say, okay, we got to start somewhere. Let's start with the guy making $60 million a year that's older and he has value and we can get something for him.
Here's my point on this that I guess I'm belaboring to make a little bit. I hope the Suns don't get screwed on this deal.
Okay.
Because there's a chance they can get screwed on this deal. There is a chance.
You could play hardball like Riley did and just say no.
We just established you can't bring him back.
We just
established you cannot bring him back. You don't think he knows that he's not welcome back here? He knows. I don't want to see the Suns get screwed on this because I think there's a decent chance they could get screwed.
The good thing is that you got to match a certain amount of money. So, that's the good thing. There are it's not like you could take two players making the veterans minimum, and you're going to have to match some money there.
No, you'd have to, but in terms of the draft picks you get back, I mean, you don't think the Suns are going to ask for a bulk of their picks back from the Houston Rockets? And
I think he's worth Rockets might 2 players and 2 firsts.
Okay, but your firsts? That's what I'm getting at. Your firsts or firsts? Because I want my firsts. I want incentive for not being bad. You're going to give me those?
Right.
You're going to give me those, or you're going to give me somebody else's first? You're going to give me your first. I don't want your first. I want my first.
It's a fair question, because if I'm Houston, I'm like, your
first are going to be, give you.
Your first are going to be valuable. I think I'd like to hold on to your first.
You will take what we give you.
Unless Houston's desperate and feels like we got to get Durant now to try to win.
And that's where them losing in the first round or early in the playoffs may come to matter in all of this.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.